You ever see a brilliant new piece of tech, something that looks like it's straight out of the future, think Google Glass or even the Segway, and it just fizzles? We all have. Well, today, we're going to dig into exactly why that happens. There's a name for it, the adaptation gap. It's that giant chasm between having an amazing idea and getting people to actually, use it.
And you know what? This is not a new problem. Not by a long shot. We're talking 500 years ago, Machiavelli was writing about this exact thing. The resistance, the doubt, it's just human nature. And that really gets to the heart of it. The problem usually isn't the technology, it's us.
So, that brings us to our first big idea here. For centuries, the real roadblock has never been the brilliant invention itself. It's always been about the introduction, how you bring people on board.
I mean, just think about that for a second. The real bottleneck for any kind of progress isn't a lack of great ideas. We've got plenty of those. It's our own inertia. It's that comfort of the familiar, right? This is how we've always done it mindset. Letting go of that, that's the really hard part.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. How does this age-old problem look in the modern world? Well, now we're dealing with something called the modern disruption gap, and this subtitle nails it. Technology is in an all-out sprint, while we, people, companies, entire societies, are basically jogging a marathon.
And the tech that's driving this gap, we call them EDTs, or Emerging and Disruptive Technologies. Look, we are not talking about your phone getting a slightly better camera. We are talking about things that completely rewrite the rules for everything: how we work, how we govern, how we live.
And just to give you a sense of the scale, check this out. These are the 9 critical areas an organization like NATO is scrambling to keep up with. You've got AI, quantum, biotech, space, the list goes on. This isn't just one wave of change coming at us, it's like a whole tsunami of revolutions happening all at once.
And this right here, this quote from Martek's law just perfectly captures the whole problem. Technology's power shoots up exponentially, that crazy steep curve. But our organizations, our habits, they change logarithmically, which is that sad, flat little line. And that huge, widening space between them, that's the gap. That's the danger zone.
So if the tech itself isn't the real problem, then what is? Well, this gets us to the core argument of this entire explainer. For decades, our approach to innovation has been all about building better, faster stuff. And in doing that, we've been missing the most important part of the puzzle.
The real solution is about building something called transformational capacity. And what is that? It's not about inventing more gadgets. It's about getting better as individuals, as companies, as a whole society at absorbing and actually using the incredible technology we already have. This chart really lays out the shift in thinking we need. The old focus on the left was all technical. Throw more money at R&D, build better labs, get faster computers. But the new focus on the right has to be completely human. It's about user skills, building agile teams that can actually react, and creating societal trust. We have to start investing in the people, not just the hardware.
Okay, so that sounds great, but how do we actually build this transformative capacity? Well, luckily, there's a framework for it. Let's break down what we're calling the 3 pillars of adaptation. This is the roadmap for closing that gap.
So it all rests on these 3 pillars. First, you've got to empower people. That's the individual level, getting them to adopt the tech. Second, you have to adapt your organization so they're flexible enough for this stuff. And third, you need to engage all of society to really absorb or assimilate the change. You can't skip a step. It has to happen at all 3 levels.
All right, let's dive into that first pillar, people. This is where it all begins. I mean, what does it really take for an individual person, an employee, a customer, anyone, to willingly and effectively say, okay, I'm in, I'll use this new thing?
It really boils down to these 3 things. First, you have to build real tech literacy. And that means focusing on the why this change is important, not just the how to click the buttons. Second, you have to motivate people. If no one notices or rewards them for trying the new way, why would they bother? And finally, you have to build trust. People will not use a tool they don't understand or believe in. Simple as that. Now for pillar number 2, organizations. This is where great ideas from individuals either get scaled up or where they go to die. So how do you get these big, complex institutions with all their rules and habits to actually become nimble and agile?
To make an organization truly adaptable, you need leaders who champion innovation, who protect those little pilot projects and give teams room to experiment. You also need partnerships to bring in fresh thinking. But maybe the most crucial thing is that the organization has to learn how to learn. It's this concept called double-loop learning. It's not just asking, are we doing things right? It's asking the much harder question, are we even doing the right things? It's about being willing to rethink your whole strategy, not just tweak your tactics.
And that brings us to our third and final pillar, society. So let's zoom all the way out. When you have a technology that's truly world-changing, like AI or gene editing, how do we, as a society, weave it into our culture and our laws without everything falling apart?
Well, absorbing change at that level takes real, deliberate effort. It starts with creating standards, basically the technical and ethical rules of the road. Then you have to build consensus through public conversations and ethics boards to create trust. And over time, all of that work helps create new, shared values and norms, making sure the tech actually serves us and not the other way around.
So, we've gone from Machiavelli to modern-day NATO, and we've laid out this whole framework. But let's bring this all back down to earth. Let's make it personal. Are you ready to change? Because this isn't just some theory.
And this right here is the main takeaway. Learning how to manage this adaptation gap isn't just a problem for generals and prime ministers. It is the central challenge for every single leader, every company, and frankly, every career in the modern world. Your ability to succeed is tied directly to your transformational capacity.
So I'll leave you with this one final question to chew on. After everything we've talked about today, what do you really think is harder? Is it building the next amazing piece of technology, or is it the profoundly human challenge of just letting go of an old habit?